We're looking at what I call the foot in the door. And we start with the song. Yetoro bon kensinsi, 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 yetoro bon kensinsi, kensinsi, kensinsi. It's just a song in the Bible saying, I'll praise God from everlasting to everlasting. But of course, the foot in the door is basically saying that, just being given a chance. For instance, you're coming at a very low level in the business, and eventually you can grow to become CEO, as long as there are no glass ceilings. But let's look at scripture because there's something similar. Exodus chapter 12, verse 48. And when a stranger dwells with you and wants to keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised. Let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as a native of the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat it. Now this was the Passover, which was exclusively Jewish, for the Israelites that had just come out of Egypt. But you can actually see God making an allowance for those that are Gentiles. So if someone was there and he was not Jewish and he wishes to celebrate the Passover, he could do that as long as he was circumcised. So he didn't have to be originally Jewish. And this is also referenced in Colossians chapter 2, verse 11, in whom also you are circumcised with the circumcision made without hands, in putting off the body of the sins of the flesh by the circumcision of Christ. So God was already giving the Gentiles, a kind of foothold into the gospel. But eventually in the New Testament, it became very open. The invitation was open to everyone. Everyone could actually come to God through Christ. And, what was expected, just like back then, was for them to be circumcised, for them to keep the Passover. Now, the circumcision is actually the one made without hands, which is about putting off sin. And for us to put off sin, we need to acknowledge the sacrifice that Christ made on the cross, confess our sins, invite him into our lives so that we can begin to live a life that is in line with God's will. And that way we become part of the elect.